Phantom Forces Honey Badger, the true OG try-hard gun that terrorized so many 0.13 and onward lobbies. There was the AS Val, but the Honey Badger was just not the same. I remember when it came out, SynthesizeOG showcased the rifle from a developer before it got released to the main game, as a part of the Camos update, which was a big deal back then compared to today, where this type of feature is almost expected in every FPS game. For a time, it was new, innovative, and interesting. As time went on, people started to notice the Honey Badger more and more as more YouTubers began to feature it in their videos.
Whoa, watch out, says that bird. Ew, it's got a snake. Oh, it's chasing a jackal. Oh my gosh. Oh, the Honey Badgers are just crazy.
This had a profound effect where if a player noticed you using the Honey Badger, then they started using the Honey Badger. Then if another player saw you using the Honey Badger, then they started using the Honey Badger, and then so on and so forth until the entire server was filled with everybody using the Honey Badger. Hell, even the higher ranks got into this meta until it became the meta. Nowadays, you just have the Spurgy movement, and that's meta. Ugh, 2016, the good old days. No. For people like that, I do have to ask, do you want to enjoy a broken, buggy game where the movement barely was working? I'd say that PF is in a better position today than it was 2 years ago or even a year ago. So to say that 2016 PF was better is kind of a cope. Even Spiral says this. And people call you a Spirals fan for that. I just agreed with one point. I didn't agree with everything Spirals has to say. Jeez. The Q Honey Badger is a gas block short barrel rifle utilizing the 300 blackout cartridge. Although it looks similar to something like the HK416, its guts and internals are more similar to the AR-15 platform. The Honey Badger won't be conceptualized until the early to mid 2000s, but first, we must talk about Kevin Brittingham and his team, which were responsible for kickstarting this kick-ass gun. In 1994, Advanced Armament Corporation, or AAC, was a company which made suppressors and upper receivers for SOCOM. AAC may have had a small and wealthy customer, but their experience would lead them to make some pretty darn good suppressors and upper receivers, and eventually firearms. In 2007, Kevin Brittingham would sell Advanced Armaments to Remington Outdoor Company. This would give him the proper resources to upscale production, at which, by this point, AAC became one of the largest producers of suppressors and SOCOM equipment for the commercial market. Because even at this time, suppressors and SOCOM equipment, believe it or not, was not that popular for the private market as it is now. By the way, when I say equipment, I mean like grips, holographic sights, and suppressors. Well, that's just suppressors, so yeah, I mean by attachments. Attachments weren't popular back then. Everybody was just running with shotguns and lever action and revolvers. Oh, and bolt action rifles. Around this time, SOCOM unit, not going to specifics for a PF video, requested a replacement for the MP5SD, which was a very capable PDW. But this SOCOM unit in particular wanted something which would be lighter, had a lower signature, and was more lethal. SOCOM, the specific but unspecific unit, would request specifically an M4 but with an upper receiver chambered for 7.62, which makes sense on paper because 7.62 has good stopping power, but Kevin Brittingham didn't think this was possible at the time. This would culminate into the development of what at the time would be known as the MPW, LVAW, low visibility weapon, PDW, and so on and so forth. It had a ton of acronyms and there wasn't an official name for the rifle yet. While in development of the Honey Badger, before it was known as Honey Badger, AAC would be testing with the 300 Whisper cartridge, which was going to be utilized in the platform. Unfortunately, it had some compatibility issues where it didn't feed right in the rifle due to having a three-way projectile design, and it required a curvature to the mag, sort of like the 7.62 because it was similar in shape, more than the 5.56, but this caused problems with feeding because of the shape in the mag and the bullet and the AR-15 style gas block receiver. So Kevin and his team decided to focus on the 300 blackout cartridge since it had closer similarities to the 5.56 cartridge, and it could fulfill the requirements for SOCOM's request. In 2011, Kevin would come in one day and stop by to visit the engineering team to find out that the rifle had a fresh, new look. The engineering team over at AAC decided to to anodize the receiver housing in a 70-75 anodized clear coat, which gave the rifle that distinct golden desert beige color, along with a jet black grip and magazine, and a 60-61 anodized aluminum handguard. That's that part with a bunch of holes that they put over the barrel where the grips and handguards. That is the handguard, stupid. What the hell? Kevin would go one day on a business trip, and while he was waiting for his flight, he would view a video by the name, well, a shit post by the name of Honey Badger Don't Give a Shit. Suffice to say, it had a profound influence on the development of the Honey Badger, and that's where actually the name came from. It was from a shitpost. In 2013, Kevin would leave AAC, although Remington was a great partner with Kevin and AAC. However, they decided to no longer produce rifles over AAC. This decision would be solidified from a statement from Jeff Still, the director of accessories and suppressors over at Remington. So, unfortunately, Kevin decided to leave AAC. Kevin would go on to work closely at SIG. Once he left AAC, he decided to fully work at SIG, where his effort, along with the team over at SIG, would lead to the development of the MCX, aka the Black Mamba. The MCX would have several advantages over the Honey Badger, such as a skeleton stock. Although it was a fixed stock compared to the Honey Badger's twin rail adjustable stock, it was more robust. It had a short stroke gas piston, same as the HA416, which in my opinion is a better design of a gas recoil system over the AR-15 style gas block, and also having the advantage of being able to utilize the NATO 5.56, Soviet 7.62x39, and 300 blackout cartridges. Also, with the fact that 6 Sauer's R&D team had a quicker response to the needs of special forces and military personnel to the design changes, and also the deliveries of the product were much quicker, so therefore the rifle was much more profitable than the Honey Badger. Kevin decided to start his own company named QLLC, where the Honey Badger would continue to, well, stay alive, and it was quite a popular gun in the private market. Gun stores would constantly sell out of the Honey Badger thanks to its distinct look and quality design. The Honey Badger would be a fan favorite among the Call of Duty crowd, being featured in several Call of Duties thanks to Kevin's involvement and being a major consultant over the development of COD Modern Warfare 3 when it was developed. It would also be featured in a movie called Peppermint, which to be honest, I've never seen before, but I've seen some pictures and heard about it in interviews. And if it was like if John Wick was a mom of 4 or 2, I've never seen this movie before, I'll be honest with you. In Phantom Forces stats, the Honey Badger is unlocked at rank 62. It deals 33 at 65 to 22 at 105 stud, fire rate of 800 rounds per minute, either auto or semi-firing modes, 2000 studs per second muzzle velocity, and 1.3 studs in penetration. It's pretty good. Sure, its muzzle velocity is of a typical carbine, but it's meant to be a carbine. That's what it's for. It excels at CQC and MQC. This What is this? What are these fucking corners? And how is the peanut? What? What? Yeah, very effective gun. This is so bullshit. What? Damn it. I choked it really fucking badly. That's just irritating. It's not very good at LQC. That's for DMRs and assault rifles. Although it can do LQC, that's possible. It's just not recommended. It's possible. You can do it if you're good. Fire rate of 800 RPM is pretty fast for a carbine. By the way, 659 RPM is the average for the carbine class. Carbine, not carbine. Who says carbine? God, it's so stupid. 750 if we exclude the 1858 carbine, gyro carbine, not pistol, and can, which have one of the lowest fire rates for the carbine class. Standard AR-15 mag capacity of 3120 of the 300 AAC blackout. Just jammed. Just jammed. It's like, forget it. Not happening. It was like, forget it, not happening. Also having a penetration depth of 1.3 studs. Sure, the Gorza has a penetration depth of 1.5 and a muzzle velocity of 2400, but its fire rate is slower, just shy of 50 RPM, in total 750 RPM. Point being, each rifle has its own drawbacks and advantages over each other. It's really all about style, map layout, and placement. Everything I just said was completely and utter bullshit. Ooh, that was smart. That was very smart. Nice push, team. No, that's a friendly nade. He just popped out of existence out of nowhere. What the heck? Yeah, that's kind of asking for it, but what was I gonna do about it? Yeah, there's nothing I could do about that. I was trying to do a push. Oh wow, the genius bar is really pushing. Where's exotic? The only thing that really matters is the handling speed and the speed of your character, and if the gun has no recoil and it's just a complete laser beam all over the map. This is all bullshit. The playstyle doesn't matter. They took all my kills. Yeah, I was gonna die to the nade anyway. Just got stuck. Where did I even get spotted? Man, this spotting is so broken, and people are just using a macro just to spot. I'll try to use the super sign. Look at that fucking build! What is that? It looks like a fucking Operation Desert Storm build! What the fuck is that? I'm gonna smack so many tactical attachments on my gun, on my Colt 63 663 SMG. Ugh. It's gonna look like Operation Desert Storm. That's a real fucking American right there. You smack on so many attachments. It's unreal. Being a spurg is what matters on this game, doesn't it? Personal lay on the Honey Badger, reflex, ARS, stubby, and full stock. Sidearm, M9. I would have said M9 ARS, but I was actually using the Super Shotty, or the Servo Super Shotty, with ARS. It's reliable enough to get me out of hairy situations. At least I think so, but I still managed to choke, even with the pocket blaster. That is the Honey Badger, one of the most known and notorious guns in Phantom Forces. Its stats have been mostly fairly consistent. Maybe there have been some recoil adjustments and balances as the updates got rolled out and time has progressed. But overall, this carbine has been fairly consistent with how it handles if you compare it to reviews or let's plays with older versions of Phantom Forces. It's got some real grandpa stats. Phantom Forces Honey Badger. It's the rifle which coined the term Honey Badger Syndrome. Definition of Honey Badger Syndrome. Players complaining about players who are using the following. Or according to those players who think that anything that appears in a sniper montage is worthy and anything that doesn't is overpowered and should get deleted.
Oh yeah, it's 2 up. Oh my god, it sucks. Dude, you're such a tryhard. I'm gonna kick you.